Hello everybody and welcome back. I am here today to just play around making some cards and journaling cards and tags and things like that. I am using the stamps that I recently received from Globeland. I absolutely love these bottle stamps. So I've done it a few times, as you can see, and then I'm just playing around with different ways that I can then use these stamp images in different projects. So as I said, I've had a play around already and I've made a card, so I'm going to probably have a go at making another one. And then all I didn't want to colour the entire image because I didn't want to take away from the background, but instead I chose pens that were a similar colour to the background, and then I've coloured in my flowers in similar colours. So just to kind of make those stand out and pop. I've done the same with this, so this is kind of like a cluster tag, I guess. And again, I've used kind of peachy pinky colours to go with this background one. And they are white on the back, so again I can do lots of journaling on there, and then that could go into a journal. So there are two examples already. I do have another card base, so I am going to make another card, so I think I'll do that first. So I've got some scraps and cut-offs which I'm kind of using for the background pieces. So I'm just going to move those to the side for a minute, and one of those. So I've got this background piece which I really love, and again I just thought the roses and the papers really go with the florals that are on here, and again obviously we've got a book on here, so I thought this went quite nicely. So I'm going to just trim this down so that it obviously frames this. Now I'm just trying to pick, because obviously if I pop it here, I'm not really getting much of the flower. I'm getting a little bit of those roses and a little bit of those roses and some paper. So yeah, I think that's the edge that I'm going to go for. So at least then I get some of the flowers and some of the pages in each of them. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer. Now my card base is 3.5 by 4.5. So all I'm going to do is at the 4.5 mark, I'm going to come back one of those little lines and cut that there, turn it round, and as I said, the last one was 3.5, so again I'm just going to come back one of those lines and trim, and then I'll keep the scraps because as I said I might be using those in a different way in a moment. So that fits lovely on there, and then that should fit nicely on there too. Okay, so we get a little bit of the white border, then we get the pattern page, and then we get this over the top. Now I'm going to do something similar. So again, we've got lots of dark pinks, light pinks. So I've got some pro markers that I'm going to use. So I've got different sort of pale pinks. This one's kind of a pinky red, so that will kind of do my dark colour. And then I've got a couple of different greens as well. So again, I'm just going to focus on the flowers just because I think that makes it easier. So let's have a look. Let's do some of these in here. But this is a really lovely stamp set. It stamps really well, and the amount of detail, well, as you can see, there's lots and lots of details here, and it picks it up really well with the stamp. I do use a stamping platform because I do generally have to go back and stamp the image a couple of times just to obviously make sure that it's really crisp in all areas. But I tend to do that with a lot of stamps anyway, so it's nothing against Globeland stamps. But there is a lot of detail in here, as you can see. Right, let's do this one a light pink as well. Now I love to colour, but I wouldn't say that I'm a colour artist. I wouldn't know really how things sort of should be done, should be coloured. So I just kind of go for it. So that's more of like a peachy colour. I think I'm going to have that one as my dark, because we have again got some dark ones there. So I think this one's going to be dark as well. and this one. And then just having that darker flower just makes it pop a little bit more, becomes more of the focal point, because the others are then quite pale. Right, so we've got those, and then I think most of everything else are leaves. So I've got two different greens, and I just kind of go in with the different greens, and I just do some leaves in the kind of darker green, some in the lighter. There's not a massive difference in the colours, so it is a subtle difference. But yeah, just keep going around. Oh, I think that's another flower. Let's do that one a different colour. Let's do that one maybe a peachy colour. Now I've kept these cards blank because I thought, well, I can kind of save them then for any occasion, because they could be a thank you card, or if I'm just, I don't know, sending some happy mail, I could just pop a little card in and write my sentiment as well. Let's do some of these leaves. Okay, and then the rest I think I'm going to do in the lighter green. As I said, there's not a massive difference between the two, but it just is nice to have a little bit of a difference. You may not be able to actually see the difference on camera. But this one is just slightly paler than the other one. Can't see any leaves in there, so we just got this pot. Okay, so again, it just adds a little bit to those. So then when it goes on here, those flowers kind of stand out against that background. Now I think I am going to round the corners. I'm only going to do the small one though. I'm actually going to do it with this one. Only because these punches aren't very good with paper, and this is a thinner paper, it's not a scrapbook paper. So if I do them together, then I know it's going to punch nicely. Right, okay, so that can then go on there. So let's grab the glue, start sticking bits down. But I quite like these because these are quite simple cards then to make, because obviously the stamp again has so much detail, and you could do it on coloured paper. So you could almost do like a watercolour wash of different colours on there, and then stamp over it obviously once it's all dry. That would give you a beautiful effect, I think. And then it's also instantly coloured, isn't it? Or like I'm doing, I've got the backing paper which gives you an element of colour, and then obviously if you just have a little bit of colour in the middle, then that makes that pop on the actual stamped image as well. I did stamp it wrong on the back, which is why I've got that there. It didn't quite line up properly in my platform. Right, and then that's going to get stuck on top, so I'm just going to try and eyeball roughly where the middle is, about there. Okay, and then there is another card, and again, like I said, I'm going to keep it blank because I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I might actually just round those corners so that they're rounded as well. I quite like that. But yeah, there's another card. Right, let's have a look at what else we've got and what else we can do. So I've I've got a few more of these stamped images. Now I was thinking of making like a journaling card but with a pocket. So let's bring in these pieces for now. Right, so again, I do like to round the corners. I'm going to round those bottom corners. And then for this one, I've got this punch which has the kind of decorative top. So I'm just going to slide this in there and punch that. So that gives me that lovely decorative edge. And then I'm still going to have that down at the bottom. And then what I'm thinking is scoring along here, and then that's going to be a journaling card that goes inside. So I'm just going to grab my scoreboard and do that. So let's have a look. So I mean this is, well, it's not quite 4.5, that's 4.5 there, so it's a line behind that, but I'm going to score it at 3.5. And then that's going to fold over like that. Okay, so that's going to get stuck on there. So this was the other image from that stamp set. Again, really, really gorgeous, stamped really well, lots of details. That's going to go on there. Right, and then this, sure, why not? I was debating whether I wanted to round these corners, but I'm rounding all the corners at the moment, so I think I will. Again, I'm just doubling it up just because it's easier to punch. I find that these, although they're called paper punches, they actually prefer to punch heavier weight paper rather than sort of flimsy copier paper. There we go. Right, okay. So I'm thinking I'm going to pop that in the middle, but I'm not going to just stick it down. I'm going to actually create a pocket out of it. Let's get rid of those. So I only want a thin line of glue. Along there. Again, still try and find the middle. Yep, about there. Just going to give it a second for that glue to grab. And again, this can be coloured in, so I'm going to do that actually while it is drying. So I'm just going to use similar colours because this again is all pinks, isn't it? Again, just going to do the flowers. But as I say, I think it just gives it a touch of colour without it being too much, because obviously you've got that nice busy background, so you don't want to overdo it, do you, by adding colour to every piece in here. Right, so we've got that. I think I'm going to add a little bit of dark red. Don't know if that is a flower in there, but I'm just going to, can't tell if it's a flower or a leaf, but we'll put that a little bit in there just to, like I say, give it a little teeny bit pop of colour that's a bit darker. Yeah, I don't have a whole range of pro markers. I have some. My sister's an artist, and whenever she's had doubles, she kind of just gives me the doubles, which is obviously very generous of her. But I also then obviously only have a select few colours. I mean, I say a select few. I've got quite a lot. Got 3 cups worth. So this one's all my blues and greens. This one's mine kind of oranges, yellows, and I've got a brown in there. And then this one's like my reds, purples, and I've got a couple of pinks. So yeah, so I have actually got a good deal of choice. I think that's all flowers, isn't it? I think the rest is just leaves. So again, I'm going to come in with my greens. Right, okay, so that's that coloured. And then what I was going to do is this one is going to then slot inside that pocket. And then you've got that bit kind of overlapping. And then at least you know that that's kind of like the pull-out tab then. And then obviously you've got space on the back for journaling as well. So yeah, lots of different ideas. So I've got a couple of cards ready to go. I've got that can go in a journal, so it's kind of like a swing tag. And then I've got a journaling card with a pocket with some more journaling space in there as well. So lots of different ideas and lots of different ways that you can use these stamps. I will have them linked down below if you want to pop to the Globeland website and go and check them out yourself. They are really pretty stamps. Globeland have such a wide selection and always have deals on, so you can really grab a bargain. There is also a discount code which will also be linked down below, so if you do decide to go shopping, make sure that you use that discount code and then you can get some money off your purchase as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.